Hello, everybody. My name is Martin, or my in-game name is Marubaro, and this is a quick tutorial. Well, it's not gonna be that quick, about 30 minutes. It's a quick tutorial. Uh, well, basically a quick explanation of what energy fighting is, and after that, it is a I'll play one game that I've recorded, and I will walk you through my decisions, what's going on, why I do certain things that I do. Disclaimer: I've been playing this game for only 5 days, but I have been playing simulators on and off for years. Um, I spent about quite a while playing IO 1947, so I have some experience with things. Um, Given that, um, I checked a bunch of tutorials online, and they're either they're either too technical and they did not help me, or they're a little bit too simple and they did not help me. So I was lost, um, and I had to figure it out on my own. So anyhow, what is energy fighting? So for this, we need to know a little bit of history, and the history is there's three types of fighting: angles fighting, energy fighting, and boom and zoom. Uh, Boom and zoom and energy fighting are kind of together. Boom and zoom is a subset of energy fighting, but that's all you really need to know. I'm not gonna go into detail, so I'll just run through the three of them. Um, so angles fighting is, when you go in game and you get a Spitfire and you try to, you get a plane and then you see the Spitfire somewhere and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go kill that guy. And then you go to him, he turns around and he kills you. And you're like, this game's stupid. So this is angles fighting, when a good turning plane basically outturns another plane, gets a better angle, and kills them. In real life and in this game, uh, angles fighting is not very good for you, for a few reasons. First of all, it's not like in the movies, and because in the movies it seems that's the only way people ever dogfight, but that's not true. Like in real life, angles fighting fell out of favor for quite a few reasons. First of all, it's very risky because you go in with another guy, mm, and one of you dies for sure. So, you know, and you can't really escape. You get tunnel vision, you don't have situational awareness, so if a third guy comes in, you're dead. Uh, Also, if the other guy has a better turning plane, you're probably dead. If you get caught a little bit, you know, out of line, out of angle, you're dead. So, in real life, since people seem to value their lives, they pretty quickly caught on and decided that that's not the best way to fight. So second type is boom and zoom, which is a plane goes up in the air. Um, so by the way, good planes for turn angles fighting are good turners. Spitfires and the like, anything under 18 seconds, 17 seconds is probably uh, a good angles fighter. Now, Boom and zoom is when a plane goes really high up in the air and then sees somebody down below and says, I'm gonna kill that guy. And then they go straight down to the guy, try to go behind him. They shoot the guy, and whether they kill him or not, next thing they do is they go straight up. Um, or go in some direction with the speed that they have. But to properly do boom and zoom, what you want to do is go straight up. And what you want to do that for is because a good boom and zoom fighter is one that waits a lot. So when you're going up, you're really, you know, you're not using engine power, you're using inertia because you're very, very heavy. So when you're going down, you you get inertia, and then for that inertia you go up. So if your engine is not that powerful, that doesn't really matter. What matters is how heavy you are, and that's a good boom and zoom fighter, and also one that lets you, have more control at higher speeds because, for instance, turn fighters, they're usually very light, and they also are designed to give you more control at lower speeds because while you're turning, you're doing it at very low speeds. Um, and totally opposite, the boom and zoomers are heavier planes or heavy planes that have more control at higher speeds because when you're going down, you're probably with 600 kilometers per hour. So, you know, the more control you have, the better your chances, to do corrections and actually, you know, have a higher success rate. Um, the good thing about that is, you know, most of the time you're gonna get kills. And also, it's pretty safe because basically people can try to follow you on the way out, and if they do, what happens is they're following you with engine power and and their own speed, while you're climbing with inertia and speed. So what happens is inertia better than engine power. So with engine power, you can climb, you've seen most planes, they say you can climb like 20 meters per second or whatever. Uh, so all you need to know about that is if you are with 500 kilometers per hour and the boom zoomer is with 500 kilometers per hour after the boom, and when you both start going up together, he's going to go up much faster than you will for a lot longer. So, you know, uh, that's it. So it's very safe and it is very, uh, it is efficient. But given that, if people know what they're doing, you're rarely going to succeed with your boom and zooms. And each boom and zoom takes time, takes preparation, and so on and so forth. So, you know, you're liable to waste a lot of time booming and zooming and unsuccessfully. Also, you can overshoot, and especially if people are knowing what's going on, and they will see you and they will be like, oh, okay, there is a boom zoomer coming for me, so I'm just gonna, uh, make him overshoot or suddenly change direction, while he's on his way down. Because you can do corrections, but not too much, because you're coming down with 600 miles per kilometers per hour or 700, so that is basically going to be, GG. Um, and also it requires great discipline. Like if you go down and you go like, oh, I missed or I overshot, so I'll just make a little turn and finish the job, you're gonna die. So it's a great discipline. Um, and the other thing is if somebody gets up to you uh, up in the air, they might kill you, but it will be very, very, very hard for them to do so because, like I said, you are you go down, you go up faster and you go down faster. Again, if you're in a heavy plane, they're in a light plane, this and you start going down, when they start going down, you're gonna accelerate faster than they will. So it's pretty safe. It's pretty safe to be a boom and zoomer. And again, heavier planes, better weapons. Like you want heavy weapons because you have a few shots, and if you're shooting with machine guns, you go down, you shoot somebody with a machine gun, maybe damage their wing, and then you have to bounce, and they're fine. And so you want weapons that mean something. Like you go in, and when you shoot them, and if you don't miss, they die. Um, so that's enough about that. So the last subset and what this tutorial is all about is energy fighting. Energy fighting is when you use your plane and the energy acting on you or that you have to fight other people by, having more energy. So generally, you know, the slower you move, the well, we'll get to that. So that's energy fighting. Is using your plane better than the other guy. As the bottom line. Is and the good thing about energy fighting is it's pretty safe. Um, and if you do it right, you're gonna have a lot of fun. You'll be able to do some pretty fun things, and you're gonna see in the video. And um, and you'll be pretty safe. But it is pretty unforgiving. Okay, so if you make a mistake, you're probably going to die. Um, so that's the drawback. But if you don't make mistakes, you will literally get a lot of kills, and you will never die. You know. So the only time you're going to die is when you make a mistake, and you will know exactly what mistake you made to die. You'll never have anybody on your six. You will never have, you know, times when you have to outturn somebody in order to survive, and you will never worry about, you know, getting into a trap, and you can literally, if you become a great energy pilot, you can literally go into a den of 10 other enemy pilots, kill one, and leave alive, and nobody can follow you. Which is kind of the same like booming zooming, but I feel it's more rewarding. So that's what, in a nutshell, energy is: outplaying using your plane to its maximum potential and outplaying the other guy. Now, there's literally three rules to energy fighting, and those would be speed, altitude, and situational awareness. And this is what confused me on most online tutorials and guides and whatever is they keep talking about energy, but what really they mean by energy is speed. And this is your single most important thing that you have. Now, what I mean by that is your speed is your most precious resource because what happens is a guy comes when you're six, you know, now, and he's at whatever 50 meters or 500 meters or kilometer, whatever it is, doesn't really matter. He's with a fast plane, you're with a fast plane, you know. None of your planes are a lot faster than the other, or whatever. Doesn't really matter. So what happens is, if a guy gets on your six and unfortunately in the game and in real life what happens is you probably are going to die, you know, because first of all, you know, and this goes to point 3, which is situational awareness, so you should never have anybody on your six, but with energy fighting you will have people on your six when you want them to be there, so, and when you don't care if they're there. So anyway, going back to speed and what it means is, you know, in the movies, Tom Cruise is flying his jet, and suddenly, you know, a boogie shows up, you know, on his six. Now, in the movies, Tom Cruise goes, he goes, makes a full loop, ends up behind the boogie and kills them. In real life, if you do that, you will die. In War Thunder, if you do that, you will die. So, the only way, and like, you know, sometimes, man, there might be some absolute, like, moron, retard, whatever, that does have exactly no clue what to do. Like, they can aim for shit. So, you might survive. But the only reason you survived is because the other guy sucked. You did not survive because you have incredible skills at wiggling your mouse or your joystick or whatever the fuck you're using. You survived because the other guy sucked. If the other guy did not suck, you will die. So, going back to speed, speed is the only way you can escape, you know, you can survive a guy showing up on your six. Now, if you are moving faster than he does, everything else being equal, altitude and so on and so forth, he can never catch you, you know. Even if he's, you know, and that's when you're playing energy planes, that is one of the most important, you know. So, so to recap is, you cannot escape a boogie to the left, to the right, up or down. You cannot. The only way you're escaping a boogie is straight ahead, and you need to be moving with a faster speed. So this is why your speed is your most precious resource. The more speed that you have at any given time, the more people you can escape. The second resource, so all you're doing in this game is you're trying to keep your speed as high as possible while you give yourself enough, um, you know, and you pay. So you have X amount of speed and you have X amount of acceleration. So each action that you take will cost you a certain amount of speed. Um, so, or a certain amount of altitude, but we'll get to that. So, you want to make a 90-degree turn, and so the guy goes somewhere and you want to make a 90-degree turn, you will have to pay with your speed. You want to, make a whoop or half a loop or whatever, you have to pay with your speed. Basically, anything that you do, you have to pay with either speed or altitude. Now, you regain speed, but slowly. You know, like those are World War II planes; they don't accelerate too fast. So in a straight line, you're not going to accelerate with more than like 5, 10 miles per second. I mean, kilometers per second, and that's like really like telling you lies. You're actually accelerating with like 1 or 2 or 3, maybe 5 kilometers per second. So in a straight line. So if you're with 500 and you decide to make a turn and you fall down to 450, it will probably take you a good 5-10 seconds to get back to 500 from 450. And and in those 10 seconds, or 5 seconds or 10 seconds, if a guy comes in with 500 miles per hour or with 475, you're dead because he's moving with the same speed as you. But if he comes in with 475 and you with 500, you live. So, and you see him in time. So, but we'll get to that. So, technically, if your speed is higher than the other guy, everything else being equal, you will be able to go away. And you will also be able to make plays, like you're gonna see in the video, but generally, if you have more speed than him, then you can pay the price for certain maneuvers that will put him in a disadvantaged position and put you in a position where you can shoot him down. Uh, but, you know, it's up to you at the moment. Usually it's not, if there is a chance that he might escape, you might not want to be paying in speed because, like I said, speed is your most precious resource. So when you spend it, you're very vulnerable because if somebody comes in, chances are your plane is not a great turner because great turners don't make great energy fighters. And if a great turner shows up, you'll die. If a boom and zoomer shows up, you'll die because you need to do certain maneuvers when a boom and zoomer shows that you won't have the speed for. So, you know, and so speed is your most important asset or the energy everybody's talking about. Now, the second thing is altitude. Altitude is what it's connected to speed because when you're at certain altitude, you can point your nose down and gain speed. Now, so altitude is really a safe bank or whatever, a bank for speed. So when you're not fighting and when you're not doing anything too terribly important, you're still accelerating. So it is good idea to keep raising your altitude until you get to the point where you want to go into a fight or whatever. And so basically you're saving the success speed into this bank that you can later use in different ways. Uh, but keep in mind that you cannot convert altitude to speed extremely quickly. And like it's not like, you know, I'm going to go and you know, I want to convert 1,000 meters in altitude to speed, which will be like, 300-400 kilometers per hour extra. It's not instantaneous. You need to go down, and you're not going to instantaneously, convert them. So, given that, you should always keep in mind that it's not an instantaneous conversion. So, even though you might be higher at altitude than the other guy or whatever, you can't like be like, oh well, I'm at a higher altitude, so if a guy shows up, I'll be fine. So I can bleed some speed right now for something. And the third most important thing about energy fighting is situational awareness. Situational awareness is basically using your camera controls and looking around all the time and being aware of who's aware, what's going on, and knowing if somebody's coming for you. And knowing, you know, eventually when you get better, you need to know what planes are gonna be a problem. Uh, you need to get better at recognizing um, who can get to you, how they can get to you, and most importantly is knowing your target's energy. So going back to the example where with energy fighting you can actually go in the middle of 10 guys, take one or two out, and then leave without a scratch, is when you do that, generally, though this is rare, generally what energy fighters do is they find a guy, just like a boom and zoomer, and they say, I'm gonna kill that guy. And what an energy fighter is, steps are, do I have the, enough speed? Do I have more or enough altitude on this guy? Do I have more energy than him? So a big part of situational awareness is being able to assess the energy level of the other guy. Because if you get there and he's got comparable to your energy, and he's in a Spitfire and you're a BF 109, you're gonna die. Uh, so you need to be able to assess their energy level, or you're going to probably die. And this is why, learning energy uh, fighting is going to, you know, it will cost you a few days and maybe a few months uh, before, you're truly comfortable with, ascertaining the other guy's energy levels, because War Thunder does not give you, much information beside, what plane they're flying and how far they are from you. It does not give you direction, it does not give you their speed, and it, you basically need to be able to, or it doesn't give you their altitude. So you need to be able to find out those for yourself in order to do it well. Um, so, so to recap, you need speed all the time and constant speed. You need to be aware of your speed, and you need to be aware of what you do, how much speed it's going to cost. Same goes for altitude. You need to be aware of what altitude you are, and you know how much it will cost you in speed or altitude to convert either one to the other, and so on and so forth. Now, the best energy flight uh, person will keep a almost constant speed, which will be high. It will be in the higher. So if your plane is like 650, you will be with about 50 indicated airspeed, which we will get into. um, and this is, and you will keep that constantly while you're fighting and while you're doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, it will go up and down here and there, but generally you will be at 550, for instance, for the BF 109 or 500, which, usually ensures, because not many people in the battlefield, especially in arcade mode, not many people in the battlefield are at 500 kilometers per hour, so none of them can catch you. And the third thing is, like I said, situational awareness, where you're aware of what's going on, who's a threat, who you want to kill, what their energy level is, who can get involved to save them, and any nasty surprises that you might expect. And so, this is all you need to know for now. And now I'm gonna play a video, of one game that I've done. I'm gonna use BF 109. I don't die this game, so it will be only one playing the BF 109 G2, and I'll show you what I mean by each thing. I make a few mistakes, but and my aim is shitty because because I'm not used to playing flight simulators with a mouse, and arcade-ish ones at that. But you can take all of this to historical battles and full real full real battles too. So anyway, let's look and see what happens. So I'm queued up for a game. Again, we're going to the BF 109, and this you're gonna see a lot of people. They heard that the BF 109 is a great energy fighter, and they're like, we're gonna do it, and we're actually gonna see one or two in the game that we're playing, and and they use them as boom and zoomers, which they're not good at because they're not heavy. Uh, and they generally suck, or they try to go and fight. I can't tell you how many BF 109s I've seen the last 5 days that just go in like straight on fighting people, and that's like the worst thing you can do. So, um, we basically start. So I'm at 1800, 1900 altitude and at 400 indicated airspeed. Now, indicated airspeed, and on this map I'm trying to keep about 450 to 500 speed. Now, indicated airspeed can be turned on from options. I think the default is true airspeed. And indicated airspeed is more important because, like I said, like certain maneuvers and things like that cost certain amount of speed. And some of them, you need to know if you have the speed to do them. True airspeed, basically, I'm just going to pause this for a second while I explain this. True airspeed is basically how fast you're moving comparatively to the ground. And indicated airspeed is how your aircraft feels that he's moving through the air. So, uh, how fast you're moving, you know, to the ground does not really matter. What really matters is how your craft is feeling. So if your if your craft is feeling like he's moving with 250 kilometers per hour, and you try to execute a maneuver that will take you more than 100 kilometers per hour, you will spin and die. So because although your true airspeed might have been like 400, you know. So this is why certain, you need to know how your craft, and this is from indicated airspeed, which is I believe settings input or interface. Yeah, settings interface, not controls. And so let's go back to this and look what's happening. And so basically, I'm looking around. I'll look around. You know, I'm trying to gain some altitude. BF is a good good climber. Sustained climber. Sustained climbing is when you're climbing without actually losing speed. So I go to 550. It's a good speed. I'm at a good altitude. You don't want to go to like too much of an altitude. If everybody else is like a lower altitude than you don't want to go to really high altitude, because then when you go down, you'll be moving too fast. So I saw this guy. He's alone, and there was another guy over there. It doesn't really matter. He was, bombing stuff and pretty bad speed and things like that. Now again, I suck at shooting shit, so it takes me like I think 3 passes to kill him. But see, I'm keeping to 450 or whatever. So if somebody shows up right now, they need to be. So it actually takes me 4 passes. They need to be moving with more than 450. You see, I'm not doing sharp turns. I'm not, you know, worried or anything. I got this guy. I'm with 450 and he's like with a lot less. And he's a dumbass. You see, he's making turns, and now he's with a heavy plane, so he can actually kind of just go down and up, and in a straight line. He has a chance to build up speed. I'll still kill him, but so he wasn't aware. He did not look around. He didn't see me, and so I started to leave. But then I noticed this is a viewfighter at 1.7 kilometers from me, and with pretty good speed, but not as good as mine. So he's still at 1.7 kilometers. So I'm with 570. Now what happens is I hit the end of the map, and it kind of magically transports you, and then it transported him as well. So now he's coming. He's trying to catch up to me, but he can't because I'm at 560. We're basically, and now I even took a little bit of a, so he's already at 2. And this is why energy fighting is great. What follows is truly like an awesome moment, and why you should be doing that. So I got some altitude in him, and he decided that he won't catch me, so he just went somewhere, decided to go and bomb our airfield. So I went up and and just came behind him, and so he doesn't have any situational awareness or anything like that. So and this is also like a lot of easy kills because people are playing like idiots. But so I come behind him, super chill, right? And so he was the hunter and became the hunted. And he never even stood a chance. Like he just never stood a chance. And I shot him to pieces, and we killed him. And so this is why this is awesome, because he was chasing us, but we were prepared. We had enough speed and altitude and whatnot, and we actually managed to turn the tables and to kill him. But we also used patience, and patience is a big thing here. See, I go up a little bit. I don't go up by a lot, and I keep, increasing my speed. I'll go up a little bit, then level off, increase my speed, regain my speed, and so again. And the whole time I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, there's these guys and those guys, and they can do something to me, they can't. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go here. One, two, three, four, five, six people. One of them died, so five people. But this is what I'm saying. I'm like, but I see that all of them are at four kilometers, except this BF 109, who's a dumbass. I don't know even why he's there. So he's trying to escape, and I just kill him, and that's it. I leave. So I saw a guy out of position, a guy that watched the tutorial and decided that he's gonna boom and zoom with a BF 109, and or he's gonna dogfight with a 109, because he saw those really good players playing a 109, and he's like, I'm gonna dogfight because that's what you do with airplanes, and that is not what you do with airplanes. So I saw this guy, and I'm like, okay, I can afford to do this. And here's a mistake. I did not really pay attention, so see, I'm getting shot because I did not pay attention, and there's two guys now after me. Now, I don't know what happens. I did not have time to look back, but we have a good speed. We're at 400. They might have even not been with a good enough speed, so they just fell off. I'm not sure. I never saw. But the biggest mistake you can do is go up. If I went up, I would have died because I would have lost too much speed. And this is a situation where I did not do good situational awareness, and also a situation where I could not use my altitude as a resource because they were actually higher altitude. And second of all, they I tried to kill this guy, but I can't. Or maybe I can, I'm not sure. But I was in a fucking canyon, so he just randomly died. So I was in a canyon, so I couldn't go down and catch my altitude. So you understand, why, um, altitude is not the same as speed, but it is nice to have. Mm. And this is also important. The way that you gain the most speed out of altitude is not by pointing your nose straight down, because the straighter down you go, the more drag there is, the more air resistance. So the less speed you get out of your altitude. So when you're not booming and zooming, because when you're booming and zooming, you actually want to gain less speed from the altitude. But when you're just playing normally and you want to catch your thing, you gently pull your nose down like 20, 30, 10, 20, 30 degrees. So if somebody is following you, you don't immediately like, oh, I got like 1,000 meters altitude, so I'm just gonna point my nose straight down and just go. No, you point in like 10, 20 uh, meters. And if you have a plane like the BF-109, which is very aerodynamic, you will gain more speed probably than his plane, because his plane is probably not as aerodynamic as yours. So, you know, uh, that's the thing. And if he's in a boom and zoomer that's very heavy, he'll still gain more speed than you because he's heavier than you. So you want to, you know, not let gravity help him. So you want them to follow you only at the 10-20 degree going down, rather than whether you where your aerodynamic form will give you more than their weight. Anyhow, so I had to repair. This is something you wanna do. You never wanna drive, fly your plane if it's damaged. Because you wanna be a good energy flight guy, and you wanna be surviving with one plane the whole mission, because that's what awesome people do. So I pay attention, I'm patient, I'm making sure that this B-25 cannot fuck me up. And I see, I think it's the same BF-109 that was there before. So, but this one is better for me to fuck up. He just went by and just, I don't know what the hell he was doing. And we crit him. When you crit somebody, you let them die. Um, Most of the time they're just gonna fall. But, obviously, you can get KS'd a lot. But, so he's falling. And eventually he'll fall. Maybe I need to shoot him a couple more times. Yeah. He didn't even get KS'd. So we're at 4 air win streak. And we leave with 600 speed. So there's like two guys that just for a second they thought they can follow us, and then they're like, man, this guy is just zooming out, like he's just going home. So they just turn around to do whatever dumbasses do. And then I turned around too. I had a lot of extra speed. So I turned around and killed him. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I got energy, they don't got energy. So I'm at 550 kilometers per hour after all of this. So, and this guy just, you know, they kill him. I don't, unfortunately. But, I get kill assist. But, technically, and I don't want to waste my energy, so I'm still at 450 right now. I'm chilling. I'm in control. Like nobody can get to me. And this is what, and you know, I'm not that good. I'm pretty bad at this game. So I see the BF 109, but I think I don't. I was gonna get him, but then the mission ended in defeat, I might add. Uh, and so I didn't have time to kill him, but I would have killed him. And this is how you do energy driving. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. We got 5 kills that mission, you know, 1 assist, a few landings, and one landing take off and whatever. Uh, and this is basically it. Like if you have situational awareness, women's numbers should not bother you, because you should see them long before they're a problem. Uh, and if you don't see them, and this is a whole other tutorial, but you basically want to you know make a sharp turn, make them overshoot. That's your
Hello?
best
Hello,
chance.
hello, hello.
That is your best chance. So that's it. That's basically it. Uh, Play safe, fly high, maintain your speed, look for stragglers or whatever, and kill them. Uh, And you know, as a little bonus, I'm gonna also play, you know, if you're actually wondering about um, you know, you go like, but Martin, you know, what if I'm in this kind of situation where everybody's cramped up together and they're just like owning me, like I can't just go and kill one guy and like, and I've been getting used to this more, but you still, you know, same rules apply. Pay attention. You see now I did not pay attention and I die. And you fight well, but inherently there's more risk and chances are you're going to die more often than not. So here I was moving with 660, so uh, you know I couldn't aim well enough to kill him. But and now I notice that there's like two guys behind me. And so there's a third, fourth. So there's like 6 people behind me. So I died. So what I should have done is actually kept going towards the ocean. Uh, that when I was with 600 instead of doing the half loop and coming back. I should have just kept kept going straight towards the ocean, you know, with my 600 miles per hour and just been okay. But I decided to come back and I got killed for it. So lack of speed and lack of situational awareness equals death. Um, so I die. You know, obviously I tried to do it as much as possible, but you know, stall as much as possible, but eventually I die. This is take 2. Again, I'm gaining some altitude, got good speed, and I'm ready to fight. And I see who's coming and what's going on. And I see this P-43. I know I'm safe. So I'm like, okay, bro, time to die. I think I killed him. I'm not sure. Kill our guy. Like he tried to fall for a second. Then I turn around, go down. Now this half full loop actually let me bleed enough speed to be able to you know, let him catch up and whatnot. So now what's happening is this is important. So I'm with 570. And there's this guy with the P39. He gets to pretty close, and then I just you know keep going. I go down just a little bit, you know. I wiggle, not a lot. Don't make any sudden turns, because they cost speed. and the guy, for some reason, he just falls into the ocean. But uh, even if he didn't, we would have made it out, no problem. Like, I did not even take damage. Like, my aircraft is completely undamaged. And we're coming back. So I'm just gonna skip a little bit. So I came back. I see this dude. Like, hello dude. I got 500 speed, altitude, whatever. He decides to just kamikaze the boat. For some reason they think this works. It actually does not. Like, he knew he's dead. And if he wasn't a faggot, I would have killed him. No offense to faggots. Um, so, is that P-47? He died. So now you have a bunch of people fighting over there. And like I said, I'm still like learning the ropes and things like that. You know. And if I was with a different plane, like if I was with an Anaconda or, I mean, not Anaconda, Air Cobra or whatever, like the American planes with the fucking huge cannon, I can probably go in over there and just fight 3 guys at a time. It's no problem because, you know, that gun just poof, 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 kills everybody. It's completely awesome. And here I was a little bit more, you know, so like whatever. And then a guy, I think, just straight on collides with me. But that was something, you know, I did not pay attention. But, you know, you cannot expect that somebody will ram you because, you know, that's not what people did in real life. Mm. So I was seeing that guy and I took a risk and I said, well, he's driving straight towards me, right? So he can't really shoot me. Like, he didn't have like, and he was moving pretty fast. So, you know, he's just gonna pass me and, you know, try to turn around or whatever, and I'll be long gone by that time. You know, I didn't expect him to just come straight and ram me. But that's arcade for you. And again, I'm getting better. You know, I should be zooming a lot more and things like that. But and that guy in the ocean, he actually died, and I got the kill. I guess I killed him. And so I see like a bunch of them, but they're all low, they're all slow. You know, and like I said, I'm still learning. I'm like, I don't know, but I'm with 590. Some guy, you know, hit me a couple of times and gave up. I just leave. What else happens? Oh, so let's see one guy when I was leaving. Yeah, I'm with a good speed. I made a more like bigger turn, but that's fine. And my aim like sucks complete cock most of the time. I'm not a suicider. No, the jack hit me. But I got an assist for him. And now I'm with a black wing and red body, so kind of bond. So I'm like, okay. And I decide to repair and some good landing, I think. Because my wings fucked up, so I cannot keep my plane straight too easy. And you can do something like that. I came in way too fast, but it was all planned. We still got repaired and oh, and we got killed at the back. And yeah, so this is basically like you can do it in those levels too, where it's just no mountains and things like that. It's harder, but and the BF might not be the best play for such places, but it is it is one of the best energy fighters. For those open planes, you probably need something more like I said, like the Air Cobra or whatever. Planes that have a cannon and you can like kill shit like really efficiently, really fast, and stuff like that. Um, but the BF is just fine in there too. And again, like I'm not that good. But this is just general guidelines, and the more the better you get, the faster you'll be able to decide who you're gonna attack. The faster you can execute your attacks. Hopefully your aim is better than mine or will get better than mine. So you can actually, when you do it perfectly, you can just spark somebody. Or even two guys go in, kill them, leave in like 10 seconds, and you leave with 600 kilometers per hour. Nobody can catch you, you don't give a fuck, and you're a boss. And that's how it works. Thanks.